One of the unfortunate sides of reality that we're forced to deal with, one of the unpleasant symptoms of living in a capitalist society, is that people often use buzzwords and technology to trick others into thinking that their simple products are more advanced than they actually are. Like, have you ever seen the use of nano in say makeup commercials? Like, our nano exfoliation is gonna make you look way super younger than you did before you put this cream on your face. Bitch, if it was actually nanotechnology, when it says anti-aging, you would literally be getting younger. And I don't use the word literally in the dumb way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the world according to Kyle podcast. Ow! It's good to be back, folks. It is very good to be back here, doing my thing on the internet, fully digitized, ready to rock. And life has been pretty hectic lately, I've been tweeting a lot recently, and that's how I know that's how I really know that I need to do a pod, is when I start tweeting more than once or twice a day. That's usually a good sign that it's time to do a podcast. And Speaking of hecticness, that's kind of the reason why I haven't uploaded in the last couple weeks. Is had a lot of crazy shit going on. Recently, I had to move locations. I had to find another place to rent in the beautiful city of Toronto, and I did end up having to eat a month of rent to get a place that really suited me, that a place that I really liked, but it was totally worth it. Kind of sucks because I have just now an overflow of ideas and topics, that a backlog of shit that I really need to start covering. I'm starting to get to the point where doing a podcast every week is not only sustainable but necessary. Necessary to be able to make sure I'm touching on all the things that I need to be touched, not in the literally way. Before we get into it, let's real quick do a little housekeeping. Find me on all your internet platforms. You can catch me on YouTube at Kyle Max, on Twitter at Kyleverse, on Instagram at KyleMax86, on Facebook at Kyle Max, and on Reddit at TWA2K. If you got questions for the pod, slide into one of my fantastic DMs and ask me there. As for the show, you can catch me on YouTube. You can catch me on your following podcast platforms: iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, CastBox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and GeoSavan. Now that we've got that out of the way, yeah, I've been going through some shit lately, not just the whole moving thing. There's just kind of some things in my life that I really don't know if they would benefit talking about to the rest of you. They're just so they're just so detached from kind of the normal human experience, and I don't quite know how to really relay that, and if there is anything that that an audience could be able to possibly derive from it. I think maybe as things are a little fresh now, and I want to be able to see how they develop. I'm not one to just kind of react to things. I like to stew on things and bring it down to a simmer and kind of see where I'm at from there. And I just had one of those kind of life happens events, and I don't think it would really serve real well for me to getting into it while it's so fresh. But what I do want to say about dealing with something difficult, dealing with a difficult life event that people can't really say, oh yeah, everything's fine. They just kind of got to go, yeah, that's tough, and say, hey, you'll get over it sometime. So what I wanted to relay is, I want to kind of have a bro down here, and this is for my bros here. Is like, don't overestimate your ability to cope with really tough shit that's happening in your life. Give yourself some time, and because you might there's a lot of this macho, nothing can faze me, and just go in the gym and work out and your problems will go away. Give yourself some time, because you're always the most vulnerable in those times where you might not know it, but you can have a explosive reaction to something, and nobody else around you really knows kind of what you're going through, and everybody wants to get up during the day and look normal and be normal. But if you're going through kind of a pit of despair at the moment, people, not everybody's so intuitive where they can see or understand some of the signs and the signals that people who are going through trouble expose via body language or communication. So overestimate for these things. Don't underestimate for these things. I had to take a day, half a day off work, and there was some important work that I needed to make sure that I got done. And yeah, those are the times where you can make compounding mistakes where you're already in a shit mood, and this happened to my buddy when they said that he said that he was supposed to get a loan on this day, and he planned it for this day and planned all this shit, and it didn't come in, and it was gonna be late, and then all of a sudden, that same day he backs into somebody's car. It's like shit like that. Like, you want to overestimate your ability to how do I want to say this, to manage stressful situations. So that's my bro down for the podcast, is have, in light of all this macho guy stuff, and I'm definitely not I'm not a beta male guy, I like dude shit, but I just want to say that don't overestimate your ability to cope with really tough shit happening. And now that we got that out of the way, I did have a good moment in the past couple weekends. Last weekend, I went to a concert, and it was one that I was looking forward to for quite some time. It was Portugal the Man concert, and it was excellent. It was great. Concerts are like the closest thing that I have to a church. They're the closest thing that I have to some kind of greater spiritual experience. Because I am an atheist. And now, while I don't support like kind of like asshole atheists, like I think a lot of people are nihilists and just say they're atheists. Like that, like I would consider myself a spiritual atheist, if you will. Like I do not think that that doing good is pointless. I don't think that the only purpose of life is just self-gratification or selfish instincts. And with that being said, I think agnosticism is kind of a stupid distinction to make of yourself. Like, and I think that it does more harm than good with irreligion, if you will. Like, I don't really see the sense in saying you're an agnostic instead of saying that you're an atheist. It's like, so what are you saying? Like, an atheist just means that you don't believe in deities. So if you're an agnostic, what are you saying? You potentially believe in deities? Like, deities might? Like, what is the sense in acknowledging, like, the reason why people disconnect from religion is because it's just, well, bullshit, quite frankly, and that you just want to believe in reality. Now, my hunch is that people say they're agnostics because they can't defend their atheism good enough. Is that they're not scientifically minded enough to be able to defend their atheism. So it's kind of like this fence sitting thing where they say they're agnostic, but they just do that because, like, they want to be able to. They feel annoyed by atheists, maybe, or they look at the worst of the atheists and say, oh yeah, I think that's a problem though, so I want to find something else. But really, I mean, all atheism means is that you just don't believe in deities, and if you think you might believe in deities, then you're fucking stupid, and you should, and maybe you should just believe in fucking religion or something. Like, but I digress. So yeah, concerts, going to concerts nowadays is kind of my modern spiritual experience, where you can just connect with, because you connect with these songs on a very very deep and emotional and spiritual level, that and they mean a lot to you, and you see the people who created the songs actually performing them, and they all see you, and it's a very it's definitely the closest I feel to like a form of like deep spiritual meaning, where like if I went to a sermon in a church, I would just like be like, wow, this guy's a charlatan, preaching about hellfire to people who don't understand reality correctly, and it's just kind of like it's kind of like I get really evil vibes from there. So yeah, it was terrific. Every time I'm at a concert, I have such a great time. I like because I make sure I really love the artists that I go to. I make sure I support the artists that have given me so much back in terms of hope, optimism, understanding deep shit that I'm going through, and giving me kind of a voice of giving me some kind of voice of reason. And just one moment, please. All right, let's kick it back. I was just had a little emergency phone conversation that I needed to get. So just wrapping up with the Portugal the Man concert. Now, I am a person who, let's say, I do not buy albums, I do not buy records or CDs or anything, so I download the music that I use. So now, when I go to concerts, I feel like since I do this, since this is how since that is how I consume music, what I do is that I buy merch. When I make sure I buy a lot of merch while I'm at concerts, because those are the artists who've really given a lot of their life to me, and they're kind of getting the shitty end of the stick as far as this the technological internet age is starting to really take off, and it's becoming easier, and people have more access to be able to listen to their materials for free. So that's kind of how I do it. Is if an artist has really been impactful for me, I make sure I buy tickets to their show, and I make sure I buy merch while I'm at this show, and I make sure that I get the party going. I cheer for their songs, I sing along with all their songs. I think that is what I owe them for freely using their music. As if artist has really impacted my life, then I make sure that I reciprocate in some way that I know how. And I probably spent like $150 on merch. This is how much I love Portugal the Man, is I bought a fucking $90 sweatshirt, okay? Alright. So, the sweatshirt probably cost like $5 to make. So, I mean, that is how I will, that is how I give back in lieu of, I guess, using their music for free online. But I mean, I think it's a case where that technology hasn't sufficiently caught up to be able to, because here's a comparison I use, is that I was a DJ before, and so why would I buy a whole album or a whole CD if I only wanted to listen to one song? How much fucking sense does that make? So then you go down to, okay, can I just buy one song? Like, I would just like to buy this song off this album because I listened to it, and this is a song that I want. So now, while we shit on while it is humorous, the amount of money people are losing on NFT investments, that I believe that the future of NFTs is the closest thing we're going to come to solving this sort of this problem, this dilemma with artists and music. But while everybody just takes and takes and takes, I would like to, if an artist really impacts you and impacts your life positively, then you do owe something to something to them. Like if you're really if you're really deeply moved by somebody's art, you should find some way to reciprocate to them. So shout out to Portugal the Man, terrific show. There was one thing I liked about them, where in the beginning of their concert, they brought out native Canadian indigenous tribes or representatives of tribes in Canada to introduce a show. And I thought, in lieu of everything that has been going on with the residential schools, that was a very nice gesture. As a gesture that was that I really respected by them. So yeah, that was pretty cool. The only one thing that as you know, I went to the Tame Impala concert before. I felt that Tame Impala really had a good grasp of the songs that people liked from them, and the songs that were good. Portugal the Man, I found, like, while they did play some really good songs, Purple, Yellow, Red, and Blue, while they did play, their some of their good songs, they missed out on a lot of so they played some Slayer, and like they played some Pink Floyd, and they had these songs spliced in with their songs. But man, like Portugal the Man has so many good songs. Like I felt Tame Impala was more aware of the good music that they had, and that the people wanted to see from them. Like they could have, Portugal the Man left so much songs on the table. They left a lot to be desired. While they had a really great set. I'm not knocking their set. It was very similar to the one that I seen at Field Trip, where they had these songs spliced in with their music, and where it would serve to transition from like one song to another. Another great song they played of their own was Got It All. But the thing that I liked is that, man, I need to hear Sleep Forever before Got It All, because of the music video. Like, Sleep Forever, to not play Sleep Forever was like a crime of that show. And also like tons of other songs, aka M80 the Wolf, 1989, Slash My Way, like so many songs, so many So American, like they could have played a lot there, and like I would have rather heard any of those instead of Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd. So I don't know if it's just served as like kind of a transitory concert thing where they transition from one song to another, and that's just kind of like how they had it organized. But I felt like that they could have really showcased a lot of their great songs that weren't necessarily like radio hits that everybody knew. But that's my one little nit to pick from the entire show. So shout out to them for having a tremendous show, and for me having a great time a great time there. It was well needed. It was it was a long time coming since been able to see a couple concerts and to go Tame Impala to Portugal. The man is, I'm beyond blessed to have had that happen so far in 2022. Okay, so moving on. I wanted to inform you guys of one of these kind of silly news stories where I just kind of am watching this and not understanding, and I'm just like, this is news, and just like, the biggest exhaustive sigh I could come up with. So I guess they were doing a news story on this splitting the Oreo debate, as if the content wasn't just the headline wasn't bad enough. So they were the issue that they had was that you could not perfectly split an Oreo, so that you could either the cream, when you split the Oreo, ends up on one side or another. Like, what? What are the odds? Like, what? Like this? They're mad that they can't split the Oreo so that there's an equal distribution of cream on both sides. Like, that's like the odds of like flipping a coin and it landing on its side. Like, that's so silly. Like there's basically like a 0% chance that you could get the cream equally distributed on both sides, that it has to favor either one side or the other when you go to remove it. Even if you have a twist, you end up with like a scant amount of Oreo cream on one side and a lot on the other. So I was doing some thinking, a lot more than I wanted to, on the situation, and I think the reason that the people who split Oreos tend to split them, so this isn't a debate about one side or the other, or like it flipping on one side or the other. Well, why are you twisting it and pulling it apart in the first place? You're doing it because maybe the wafer of the Oreo is too large in distribution to the cream. I think maybe that's the issue, where because why are you eating it why are you splitting it apart in the first place? It's because there might be too much cookie on an Oreo, is what I'm getting at. So that's kind of I just found it hilarious that a simple like that this is like basically like physics, like that you're trying to, it's like, why can't we do something that's like basically fucking impossible? like unless you had like a super thin laser to like split it exactly in half. But what are you really complaining about? Why do you want to split it in half? Why do you want an equal distribution of cream in the first place? It's because maybe the wafer is a little bit too big, and then maybe that's the issue. That's what I think the under realized thing is about this. So, moving on, we have I wanted to bring attention to something that happened in Canadian Parliament. So there was a instance of complete self-pwnership, where this MP, her name is Rachel Thomas. She basically owns herself. So I'm gonna get this loaded up, and hopefully the volume's not too loud. And listen to this.
Thank you for the question. Dictator. I just did a quick review. in the dictionary. So according to the Oxford Dictionary, a dictator is a ruler with total power over a country, typically one who has obtained control by force. There are many Canadians that would hold the view that this does apply to Mr. Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada.
So, well, many Canadians are really fucking stupid if that's what they believe. I love that. Like, did she not read what she was about to say? Was so she basically completely contradicted herself in her own beliefs by reading the dictionary definition. One of the most amazing freaking cases of self-pwnership that I have truly ever seen. Like, how could you like that's like you. What did you think it was going to tell you? Like, do you think that's what dictionaries do? They just tell you what you want to hear. That was like, she was like so millennial. She's like, oh, dictionaries just tell you what your version of reality, your truth. So that was kind of funny. Because, as much as I don't like or don't care for Justin Trudeau, he did get elected democratically. That much I can't argue against. But like, I think just people want something to complain about. Like, if all this COVID stuff was just to control us, then why are the restrictions lifting? Like, I'm getting really sick of these conspiracy babies. Like, at some point, you either need to find a reasonable solution to what we have now, or you need to shut the fuck up. Like, I mean, all this complaining about this and that and dictatorship and power and like, okay, well, what's your alternative? What's your alternative to how things are right now? Because the way things are need to be fundamentally changed. Like, we can't, like, if you want things differently, what are you offering? And you just don't see that. These people are just babies. They just fucking want to complain that things aren't exactly their way. And this is a conspiracy movement. Like, before online conspiracy movements were, they actually had these ideas, like these Buckminster Fuller type ideas on like a better way to organize society, and a better way for the planet in the future. And now it's just like people just want to be goddamn babies and bitch about everything without providing any solutions. So what, your solution is to vote for Trump or DeSantis or like that all the same problems, are they not still there? You believe that elites are in control and planning everything out that is happening. You believe that our reality is planned, like by Rockefeller going up to his calendar and going, oh, okay, yeah, what day is it today? Okay, time to release the COVID plan. Okay, and then we got Fauci, and then after Fauci, we're gonna cycle him out, and then there's gonna be Putin, and okay, Putin attack Ukraine now. Okay, so this is a level of stupidity that you're dealing with. Is that they think that reality is just completely planned out to a degree that gives humanity unfair credit for what what it can actually accomplish at that sort of level. So at a certain point, you need to come up with ideas and solutions, or stop destabilizing our own societies because the future isn't, or the present isn't exactly how you fucking want it. And if you think that Biden or Trudeau are responsible for inflation, you are too stupid to be voting. You are really too stupid to be voting. Like, unbelievable. When gas prices shot up after the Saudi prince died. Like, so was that like Trump's fault, or like inflation is happening because of events that, like, to how are you giving that much credit to Biden or Trudeau that they're that they're causing inflation in such a way? Like, this is just stupid. You're just like playing whack-a-mole here, like ideological whack-a-mole, where you're trying to like hit you're slapping at mostly air. Every now and then you'll hit something and boom, oh, it's conspiracy. Absolutely ridiculous. Like the level of the level that political discourse has gotten to is just is unbearable. I can't. I have to like completely remove myself from all ideological bendings and just kind of proceed from there on my own. And while I think it's a lot of people like to, another straw man they like to blame is the woke. And it's like, I don't think it's woke equals broke as much as it's like massive inflation and people cutting out unnecessary expenses. Like, that's probably why why this, like, cause let's be honest, Netflix pandered a little more to diversity because they had to, or they they didn't do that they didn't do that because they thought they were like going to lose viewerships, and by and large they didn't lose viewers until this kind of plateau. But I just feel like people have less spending power now. I know I'm like paying a lot more for living. I just moved, and I'm paying significantly more in living expenses from like renting and groceries. But I mean, I understand these are there are world events that are happening that are giving rise to this. That I mean, like, for me to, as much as I do not like Trudeau, for me to sit there and blame him for things that he's not responsible for. Now, what does that do? That makes me look like that looks me look unreasonable. Okay, that does not make him look unreasonable when you're just so hell bent on. When you're so hell-bent on finding flaws with somebody that you blame them for some things that they shouldn't be blamed for, it makes your side look worse, and it gives him a greater platform to be able to justify his leadership or his power, and so. Like, I understand that my bills have gone up a lot because of these factors that are by and large out of our control, and we will see what happens. Hopefully, when in a couple of years from now, and things start to stabilize, and we live with COVID better as we are starting to right now, or it gets eradicated, and then who knows what's going to happen with Russia. But I mean, a large part of trade and a large part of global trade was influenced by us needing to put sanctions on Russia. So, you know, what do you think we shouldn't have put put sanctions on Russia for what they're doing? You think, is that a Trudeau thing, or is that just what anybody would have done? So again, I don't see anybody saying we shouldn't have. Just to be quite clear in our political discourse. So, you know, we give it a couple years and see where it is, and you know, people are just cutting unnecessary expenses, and you know, and Netflix, super unnecessary expense. I mean, I wouldn't pay for Netflix. You know, I scroll through it and see mostly junk, and that's not something I'm willing to pay any amount of money for per month. So I think, like, the quicker people are to parade anecdotal evidence or anecdotal data as evidence that they're right, you can almost certainly know that they're on the losing side of whatever argument they're on. So that is just kind of, I think that's a good rule of thumb. That's a good rule of thumb, where if somebody has a a quick trigger finger to be able to just puppet this anecdote around, then you can almost tell that how desperate they are for that little piece of evidence that is somebody who's on the losing side of whatever argument they're on. And, people will say, oh yeah, you're just defending Trudeau. It's like, no, I don't like Trudeau, at all. And, I think it is a massive, disservice to the country of Canada that Justin Trudeau is able to be our prime minister and Kevin O'Leary is not, just because Justin Trudeau can speak French. That is a massive injustice to our country, and I think, like, just hearing Kevin O'Leary and his comments on crypto and his ideas on how to change Canada for the better, like having a good, robust capitalist system that, doesn't veer too far in the crazy American direction where you have to be fucking grateful for just being born in America type of deal. Like, I think Kevin O'Leary really would have been a great benefit to Canada, and it's kind of stupid that just because he doesn't speak French that he can't be our prime minister. And Canada needs to get past this superficial crap, because we're gonna miss out on a lot of potential, because we're just limiting. Most Canadians are not bilingual, and the French people do not speak English, and the English people do not speak French. So it's really just frustrating. Another thing that's frustrating about Canada right now is how soft we are on vehicular homicides and on death, on people getting behind the wheel and killing others. And guess who pays for it? Guess who pays for it? We're starting to see careless driving crackdowns where a cop will ticket you for going 20 over in in a situation where you're just trying to pass somebody. And, those sort of careless driver crackdowns are optics related. And since we're seeing a huge uptick in car accidents and people dying, like this guy is douchebag in a Mercedes, going over 100 in a 40 kilometers, in a Mercedes in a 40 zone, and then killed fucking 2 kids, and he got a year suspended sentence in prison. Now, the reason that he got nothing was because he was 17 when this happened, and it was a Young Offenders Act. But if you are too young to go to life in prison for killing 2 kids in a car, then you should be too young to fucking drive that car. End of story. And we don't just see this with kids. Is that, like, even if he was an adult, a technical legal adult, he would probably only be getting a few years. And this is an element of Canada that really pisses me off. Is like this like, we're trying to be nice Canadians, but we're nice, but if we're soft on crime, that's not really nice. That's us being fucking cowards. That's us, I think there's a confusion of being nice with cowardice, and that needs to stop. Like, right now we're seeing a shit ton of these accidents, of these people careless driving and dying. And it's not because people are going 20 kilometers over in an 80 kilometer zone. Okay, it's not because we're not giving out enough tickets for that. Okay, it's not because we don't have enough artificial intelligence ticketing people for going 14 over in a 70. It's because if somebody does a serious crime, is that they're not paying for it enough. There's not enough disincentivizers to committing a serious crime. And that's something Canada, I think, really needs to reflect on. And right now we're just taking it out on average citizens who aren't a risk of getting into these super tragic accidents, where we're taking it out on the wrong people, like the people who are dangerous driving aren't getting enough punishment, and so there's not enough disincentivizers. It's the same thing with murders in Canada. Is that, like, they just get a fucking slap on the wrist? That's not being a nice Canadian. That's being a fucking coward, and we need to get a lot tougher on the worst offenders of the criminal justice system, instead of forcing good people who just want to pass by a old lady driving slow on a Sunday afternoon. There's another thing that was really getting at me lately is in fast food, there is kind of like a push towards eco-friendly, more eco-friendly stuff. And now I wanted to talk about A&W, and now now there's a little criticism I have with them in going too far into the eco direction, where it's actually a disservice to their products, because and some of their practices are good. Like where I like the grass-fed beef, and their burgers taste delicious, and not promoting factory farming, etc. But I think have you ever had the straws there? These straws are like paper almost, and they just I don't like them at all, and they make the soft drink tastes weird, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting little chunks of fucking of paper in my drink, and I'm drinking it, and it's disintegrating while I'm while I'm consuming it, and the fucking the bags and stuff that they come into, that the product goes in, there'll be a light rain, and the bag will almost be disintegrated by the time I fucking walk 5 minutes down the street. Either have us bring our own our own reusable containers, or just do the thing that works, right? Why am I eating part of my, I don't, why am I eating part of the packaging just because you want to seem more environmentally friendly? That's called the technology hasn't caught up to what you want to do. Why should I have a shittier eating experience because you want a virtue signal? It's kind of annoying. And I would bring my own reusable thing if that's just what they did. If you're gonna do that, go all out. Don't, have me have little chunks of fucking packaging in my fucking drink, and make my drink taste shitty. My drink tastes good in when I'm sipping it from a plastic straw, because I don't get any fucking particles into my drink, or at least none that it's noticeable enough where it's where it's affecting the taste. So fast food is what it is. I mean, and if there's a solution that's better, and we have to move towards that, well, the company needs to do it in such a way that it's not gonna reduce the experience of me going there. But some things they do are good. I do like their burgers and their onion rings, even though they give you a very scant amount of onion rings if you order a full bag. But also, I think that it's you should buy your own condiments, or own amount of condiments. If you had just a reasonable price, why do I gotta ask for 10 plastic bags? Okay, I want I want a small, medium, or large barbecue sauce, instead of I need 10 barbecue sauce packages, stuff like that. And I wouldn't mind paying for more as long as the price is reasonable. So there's no way to escape the environmental impact. There are just ways to mitigate against it, but don't make the product worse because of it. So let's finish up on a little bit of sports talk. We have the NFL draft coming up very shortly, about another week away, and now there's a couple players who are kind of holding out right now. I think one has an issue here, and the other does not. The one that I feel has a legitimate issue is Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, he is a wide receiver who is utilized as a running back in the head coach Kyle Shanahan's scheme. And Kyle Shanahan has he almost like treats his players like they're pawns, like where and he really runs his running backs in particular into the ground, so to speak, where like he really puts a heavy workload on them. And so Deebo Samuel is one of like the best performing wide receivers, and like Deebo is so good that like you can't even create him on Madden. Like he's such a good he's like a running receiver, I call him, or some people call him a wide back. But I mean, he can do both things incredibly well. And now I own Deebo Samuel in fantasy leagues, and you know, as angry as you can get that maybe he might not play this season, I gotta respect his decision here because you know, he's got to think long term, and I can't knock him for that. Like if he's gonna be your Mr. Everything, if you're gonna use him to everything, that you know, run and take his life years off his career, then pay the man his goddamn money. You know, if he's I wouldn't want to make $5 million a year, do everything, tear an ACL, and then never be the same again. That's called a business decision, and like I said, that's kind of how Kyle Shanahan coaches. Is his running backs always get injured, and he always uses them, and you see because he has a very running scheme system where they're running a lot, and there are a lot of pre-snap motion, and a lot of east to west running. So you put a lot of miles and a lot of wear and tear on your body doing that. So it's like if you're gonna do that, you should be getting at least $20 million a year. And if you're going to be that guy who's you're going to rack up like all this mileage, then you should pay him. And as much as I would like him on Kyle Shanahan's system and scheme for my fantasy team, I can understand his side. I can understand his side of the equation. And I can't believe San Fran is not paying him, that they're just going to cheap out on this. He was like all of their offense last year. So hopefully they could work it out. It doesn't look like it's going to go that way, but either way, I feel like Deebo will be valuable no matter where he goes, and I hope somewhere someone is willing to pay up for him and utilize him in the way that is going to be most productive for him and the team. And you know, that's all you could really hope for. You know, you can't get mad, you can't knock a guy for wanting to make a smart business decision for his health and his longevity in the NFL. Now, Deebo holding out had a case. The person who I feel does not have as much of a case is Kyler Murray, where if I was Arizona, I would call his bluff. I would, you know, I would let him. I would let him sit because I don't think he's shown enough. Have they even made it to the playoffs? Like you had like one Hail Mary victory against the Buffalo Bills. Teams are kind of scheming against him, and not avoiding defending the middle of the field, middle intermediate range of the field, where he is statistically not as good at hitting receivers. He's injured a lot. He was injured a lot, and is having trouble finishing out full seasons. I didn't see enough from him. I didn't see enough. Now, it's not that I didn't see enough where I don't think he can be a good player, or I didn't see enough where I don't think he has a potential, or I don't think he has a potential to be great. But I've seen enough red flags where you at least want to see a full season of him being healthy and operating on offense before you pay him. Like I'm not gonna pay. If I was GM of the Cardinals, I'm not gonna pay Kyler Murray $100 million contract, unless it's for like 5 years. I don't know. Even then, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Even $20 million per year. I mean, you're hitching your wagon to him as your quarterback for the next 5 years without a note. And I'm not doing that. So I would call his bluff, and I don't think he has enough leverage to be able to be pulling off this sort of move. He hasn't had enough on-field highlights and on-field display of greatness to be able to justify a couple $100 million type of deal. And I think this is out of line. I think he should get hit. And now if he came out and he performed this season, I would have no problem doing it. I'd have no problem. He has a nice full season, fully healthy. The kind of narrative so far is, as the season kind of drags on, that you're starting to see the wear and tear on Kyler, and that he's his less impact. His technique, his style is less impactful as the season starts to wear on. So that is kind of what the contrast in the holdouts that the NFL currently has. I'm not going to go too much into the draft. We'll talk about it when it happens and see what happens. But a lot of the draft and players getting drafted is dependent on situation. Like if you can be very very talented, but be in a bad situation and not see the field and not get to show it as much. So I like to kind of comment on the draft after it happens. So we'll probably do a little bit more sports and commenting on sports after the NFL draft, and really kind of analyzing the teams before the start of preseason and OTAs and training camp and all that. But anyways, it's been a slice. I will see you all again real soon. Hopefully, I will not wait too much longer before the next pod that I do. So, will be sooner than later. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was the World According to Kyle podcast. Take care. Have a good one, y'all.